This is Jonathan Ayoff here for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to be joined by Dillian Whyte. It's fight week, and who better to be joined by than Dillian Whyte? Dean, how you doing? Been a while?
I'm good, I'm good. Yeah, yeah. It has been a while. Look at the beard you got on your son.
Oh, you won't see me on camera. Um, as I say, fight week's finally come around. Massive fight, Dillian Whyte against Alexander Povetkin. Um, is this for you the biggest fight back since the pandemic?
Absolutely. I'm sure the fans would agree as well. Like, look, it's a pay-per-view fight. We haven't had any of them recently. Obviously, the last biggest fight there was Fury versus Wilder 2, and that was in Vegas. And now, post, the COVID, this is definitely the biggest because obviously we're not allowed fans at the fights at the minute. So it's a great opportunity for them to see, the big fights happening and, in the comforts of their home. Obviously, I know the real diehard fans would like to be in the arena singing away, chanting, following their favorite fighter. And but in this case, they're gonna have to do it at home or maybe in their local bar or whatever. But it's gonna be great. You're gonna have the WBC interim world title on the line. We're gonna have the coveted diamond belt on the line of WBC, and I think they're in for an amazing fight. So let's see what happens, man. But it's definitely going to be intriguing. Dylan's going to be in great shape. He's looking well. He's looking strong. I got back from Portugal about, I think, a week. No, been longer than a week. Almost about 10 days, 12 days ago. So, I mean, he's looking well. He's looking strong. He's on the way back now.
Just landed, I
Ready
think.
and raring. He's ready and raring. Yeah, he's ready and raring. So, yeah, listen, tune in Saturday night, man. It's going to be explosive.
Yeah, as you say, literally just saw it on Twitter. I think Dillian's just landed, heading to fight camp, going to be in separate location to Alexander, obviously. As you say, you're in Portugal. What's the training been like? Has it been even harder than usual for this fight with so much at stake?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen online, Ruben Tavares is coming now in the new year, and he's brought some new stuff, and he's trying to improve Dillian as he did with Derek Chisora. If you saw the shape Derek Chisora came in with the Dillian fight, the second one there, so you know what kind of thing Ruben he brings, like as you saw with David Hay and stuff like that. He's a taskmaster, and he pushes them hard. And I mean, listen. There's some of their strength sessions in the mornings was absolutely mental. Where Dill was suffering, but he's a beast. I mean, he's a tougher warrior, and he got through it and he pushed himself. And I think that you'll see the difference in terms of how he was when he fought Marius Wack, when he went in and his mindset wasn't right. He'd been on MasterChef, so he'd been overweight. He'd had a lot on his mind, a lot on the table. So he wasn't himself, but there was enough talent to get the likes of Wack, get round the likes of Wack and get a great win. And that was a Wack, very motivated Wack, he was in good shape and he was ready to go from before. So, I mean, you can see that was a good Wack because some of the guys, when he fought some other guys, he just didn't turn up to the races. He looked quite heavy and stodgy. In that one, he was a lot more leaner. He had, I think he dyed his beard and head blonde. He was ready, man. He was ready to go. He put on a good performance. He played his part in there, but you can see the classes with Dillian. Obviously, he wasn't his fittest and mobilest, but ugly wins better than a pretty loss. So at the end of the day, he got the job done and he moves on. He had a grumble, but he knew and knows what he had to do, and he made changes. He's gone to Portugal and set up a great camp, and you're going to see on the scales on Friday night. You'll see he's a lot trimmer, and he's only going to get better.
As you mentioned, changes. Obviously, one change that I think people were quite shocked to see was Mark Tibbs depart.
Yeah, Mark Tibbs,
Xavier Miller's come in. First of all, on Mark Tibbs leaving, do you understand sort of the reasons behind it, and also what can we expect from Xavier Miller? I know he's been involved in boxing a long time.
Yeah, do you know what? It's obviously sad that Mark's gone because he was an integral part of the team for about 4 years, and him and Dill gelled well, and it was working. And and it seemed to have just come to an end. Obviously, it's ran its course. It's not my place to obviously discuss what happened and what was going on. I leave that to Dillian in his own time and their team's time. to when they want to talk about it, and they'll open up on it. I think Mark spoke about it, but that's up to him and that's his prerogative. But Mark and Dill and the rest of the team, we had a great journey. Mark's a top coach, and he's the Tibbs family is renowned through boxing, and I wish him luck. You know what I mean? Obviously, Xavier was a good coach. I think the blend with both was quite good, but obviously Xavier's been there for the whole duration. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep, got you back.
Yeah, sorry. Xavier's been there for the whole duration, and they've been working on stuff. Dill looks a bit tighter defensively, and obviously he's working on some cute stuff. But Xavier's got he's very technical and cute on the stuff he does, and I think Dill found it interesting and liked that. That's why he brought him on board initially with Mark, and obviously, I don't know what the plans is moving forward. You'd have to chat to Dillian and see, but he's at the helm at the minute, and hopefully he. I envision him doing pretty good. Like I said, he's been around the sport a long time, like you said, and he's a little veteran in the game. So yeah.
Dillian has won 11 fights since losing to Anthony Joshua, waiting over 1,000 days for that world title shot. But which Alexander Povetkin are you expecting to turn up? Obviously, looking at his last few fights against Joshua, he was very dangerous, sort of the first 4 or 5 rounds, sort of tired out a bit, but against Michael Hunter, sort of the opposite. So which Povetkin are you expecting to turn up?
All right, so what I would say is in the Joshua fight, he came in pretty in good nick. He came in about 15-5, 15-7, I believe. In the Michael Hunter fight, I think he came in around 16-5. A little bit more heavier. He's an older gentleman. Maybe he pushed it a lot harder because he knew there was big money on the line. If he got the upset with Joshua, that would put him at the pinnacle of boxing again. But he's a man who's educated in boxing. He's been around a very, very long time, experience, former Olympian, former world champion. So he knows and he does just enough to, fight in patches and spatches in fights. So, he knew, and he's infamously slow starter in boxing, and a lot of people know. And I think Michael Hunter went for the kill early, nearly got him out of there. And, he had a good few, I think he had 3 good rounds where I believe he was ahead on the scorecards, and then Povetkin started to come into it somewhat and play his part. And I think for me, a draw was a fair result, me personally, because there was a time when Hunter went into the ropes and the ropes held him up. Really and truly, that should have been cast as a knockdown because he went into the ropes very, very heavily. And I thought that should have been cast as a knockdown as well. So, maybe that would have swung the boat for people to classify it as a draw. But it was a really, really good fight. And I mean, Hunter, I classify him as, I've got a lot of respect for him. He's good. He's a young, hungry lion. And I mean, he brought it all day. And to go in there and do that against someone with Povetkin's experience is good. But yet again, he was the very smaller man and the faster man, and he had youth on his side. So I think all of that played a part. Dillian's obviously a solid heavyweight. So, he'll go in there, set out his stool, using his jab, going to the body, going to the head. And hopefully, he old man's Povetkin in there. And, gets a devastating knockout. We'll take a 12-round decision also. But I think in this juncture, where we're at, I think he should.
Still there?
Yeah. Apologies. Sorry about that. So, like I was saying anyway before, I just feel like, it's one of them ones where, for him, he's got a lot on the line. He's waited over 1,000 days for his world title shot. And, he doesn't want anything to upset his party. So he needs to be decisive and go out there and put on a clinical boxing and then obviously go to the body. I don't think Povetkin's going to be able to hold them body shots. And when he catches and counters and throws that left and stuff, I just feel like he's going to have too much for him. He's going to be too young, too hungry, too explosive. And I think we're in for a great Saturday night.
Obviously, there's been so much sort of talk surrounding this fight and what happens next. We've seen similar talk before in heavyweight fights of what's next, who's next. How important is it for Dillian to be completely focused, I guess, on Saturday night, even if people are going to talk about what's next?
Absolutely. Listen, obviously fans and other people can talk about what's next, but what is next is Saturday the 22nd, which is Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin. That is what's next. it could be a possible banana skin. Even though he's 40 years of age, he's still got enough in the tank. As you saw, he fought someone who's a very top prospect, probably in the top 10 in the world, and you know, he got a draw against him, Povetkin. So, and that's someone coming up. So really and truly, imagine Povetkin in his prime. So we're not going to take that eye off the ball. He needs to do what he needs to do on Saturday night. All of the rest of the fights, they don't matter until after Saturday, but they are there looming and waiting, and we've got to see what happens.
That said, people are going to talk about it, as you say. There has been a lot of talk. I've spoken to Frank Warren recently. Bob Arum said something along the lines of they're basically not interested in the Dillian Whyte fight. Maurizio Suleiman, though, has said that fight must happen. So, you know, what's your mindset on this whole situation? It seems like we have the same conversation every time.
Yeah, well, look, listen, these guys, they got a lot of money on the line. So of course, they're saying they don't want the likes of Dillian Whyte in the conversation because he's coming to ruin the party. He's the man that comes to upset the apple cart. So, of course, they don't want him in the conversation, in the mix of talking about defending. Defending what? And then what happens? They don't get to go on and fight. Tyson Fury has already stated, listen, no belt defines him. He's the lineal champ. No, you know, he's a WBC champ now, but he's a lineal champ. No belt defines him. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't see him defending against Dillian. In all likelihood, I see him potentially looking to say, you know, I'm going to throw this belt in the trash and I'll continue on as a lineal champion of the world. I wasn't defeated of my belt. I just threw it in the bin because I'm not going to be dictated by anyone. There's a big mega fight which all the fans want to see against me and Anthony Joshua, and that's what I see him doing. And then that leaves Dillian the opportunity once he wins Saturday night to go and fight for a vacant world title. But listen, we got to see. We got to get past Saturday and then look at the field. And unfortunately for me, I've got to shoot because those guys keep phoning me and they're rearing and waiting because we've got a long journey. But listen, we'll catch up. Sorry, I didn't have any much more time for you. But thanks very much as always. Yeah,
that's absolutely fine, Dean. I appreciate your time in this busy fight week. Looking forward to Saturday night, and hopefully we'll catch up after the fight.
Absolutely. Thanks very much. Bye.